Alright everyone, welcome back again to some more Umineko. To tell you the truth guys, with this part, I don't know what to say. I am very speechless because what happens in this part of the video, of this game, is just, in my opinion, amazing. So I won't get into it too much, I'll just let you guys see it for yourselves, and if anything else, I want to thank you all for the love and support, and let's continue on. Alright everyone, and we are back. Maria had been claiming something for a while. If we could solve the riddle that the witch had presented to us, the ritual would be halted and we would definitely be saved. And I think she also said that Beatrice would never break a promise she made. So that describes Maria herself. She's the one with the most innocent heart who would never break a promise. So she believed that Beatrice wouldn't break a promise either. She could believe that. But wasn't that just an image of Beatrice that Maria imagined? There's no proof that the real Beatrice definitely keeps her promises, right? Oh, she kept that in red.
碑文の謎を解けば、黄金鏡へ至ることができるだろう。さすれば、儀式は終わる。それ以上誰も死にはせぬ。
お前みたいな外道の極みが、ルールを遵守するってのかよ。
わらわが、残忍で卑劣で外道であることを否定はせぬ。だが、わらわは魔女だ。魔法を使う。魔法を使うには、守らねばならぬルールがある。わらわは魔女だからこそ、それをないがしろにできぬのだ。それだけは信じるがよい。
これだけめちゃくちゃやってきて、それでもルールだけは信じろってのかよ。
わらわはたぶらかしはする。もちろん人も騙す。人間と変わらぬ。だが、約束として口にしたことを保護にしたことは一度もない。人間はどうか、約束を必ず守るのか？
約束を守ろう。なんてキャッチフレーズがある以上、ちゃんと履行されてるかどうかは疑わしいな。
わらわから見れば、人間の方がよっぽど利己的で下道な存在よ。人間の約束ほど疑わしいものはない。わらわも時に人間と契約するが、くだらない願い一つ叶えるのに、どれほど厳重に取り決めをするか想像もつくまい。少しでも隙があると、連中はすぐに、叶える願いの数を100に増やせとか、小さな豆粒に変身してみろとか言い出す。
親父によく言われたぜ。契約書ほど怖えもんはねえって。よく読まずにハンコを押す奴は、骨の髄までしゃぶられて当然だって言ってたぜ。悪徳で荒稼ぎしてやがったんだな。
察しろ。人は生まれながらに詐欺を知りはせぬ。どこかで被った。だから覚えた。押し付け合わずにはいられぬ人の世の罪。か。はて、どこの魔女に聞いたやら。まあいい。そなたが思っているほど、わらわも無慈悲ではないぞ。
嘘をつけ！これだけの大勢を！しかもまた！こんな残酷な方法で殺しておいて、何が無慈悲ではないだ！約束は守るだと？いい加減なことを言うな！俺はお前を認めない。断じて！それを譲らないことだけが、お前への抵抗だと俺は信じてる！
なるほど。永遠の苛波であるのは、わらわに対しても同じであるというわけか。 かもしれぬな。千年は長い。魔女の強さは、魔力より我慢強さで決まるのかもしれんな。なるほど。ベルン教の恐ろしさもうなずける。
何をわけのわかんねえ話をブツブツ言ってやがる。さっさと永遠の苛波とやらを続けろよ。俺は1000年でも1万年でも付き合う覚悟だぜ。
よいよい。少しは戦う気力も戻ってきたようだな。そうでなければつまらない。ほら、対戦ゲームでもよくあるだろ？乱入したけど、相手があまりに弱くて拍子抜けで、わざと負けて最終ラウンドまで延長させて、
I certainly don't do that.
最後に本気でフルボッコにすることとかって、あるだろ
例えの意味がわかんねえよ。
ワインと同じよ。よく熟成させねば輝かぬ。お前は、それに耐えられるワインだ。わらわがじっくり熟成させてやる。そなたを、わらわの優雅な時間を彩る最高の美酒に育て上げてやるぞ。だから、この程度で屈服などするな。わらわを引き続き否定してくれよ。何しろわらわは、そなたが認めぬ限り、儚き幻想に過ぎぬのだから。
Oh, they made it to the chapel.
何度見ても辛いな。
教中、お察しします。シャノンさん、鍵を頼みます。お亡くなりになられたとはいえ、奥様はレディーです。私には触れることができません。
はい。
Shannon nodded sharply, her expression filled with a sense of duty. George, Goda, and Shannon had broken a suitable window and were inside the chapel. Since they really hadn't wanted to break one, they had searched for another way in just in case. But in the end, the only proved once again that there was nowhere that anyone could slip in through, and emphasized further how inscrutable was the chapel's locked room. Inside the chapel, time had stopped since they had left it earlier. Of course, even George could not approach that horrible Halloween party again. It was only natural, because it made him remember again the sadness of losing both of his parents at once. And Goda, thinking of the possibility that their bodies might have changed in some horrible way now that half a day had passed, didn't want to let George approach. Shannon followed Goda's instruction and approached the party table. Normally, Shannon might have resented having another dirty job forced on her, but now she could truly understand Goda's mental state. Despite Goda's prodigious skill, he had gotten into trouble, lost his job, and been left out in the streets, and then Natsuhi had given him a new life. Even though it had just been a casual employment for Natsuhi, Goda must have felt that it was a turning point in his fate. Those around Goda could see that he felt a special kind of loyalty to Natsuhi, so he probably didn't want to lose that feeling, even though she was dead. Now that half a day passed, the bodies of Natsuhi and the rest had changed completely. Small bugs that had sniffed out the smell of death had started to gather. It really wasn't something you could look at directly.
奥様、失礼いたします。
Because of her long experience as a servant, Shannon had an idea of which pocket Natsuhi had kept the key to her room in. Probably in this pocket. Her guess didn't fail her. Just by touching the outside of the pocket, she was immediately able to feel it.
ありました。奥様の部屋の鍵です。
Shannon held the key up high, showing the others that it had been found. As George and Goda watched her, their eyes opened wide. That wasn't the expression Shannon was expecting, so it startled her. Ah, crap. Something's behind her. Please don't kill Shannon. Don't kill Shannon! Because Shannon hadn't noticed, George and Goda watching from afar had been able to notice it first. Because when Shannon had held the key up high, a blizzard of gold leaf had billowed up from around the table. There were countless gold butterflies. Because it was the first time George had seen them, to him, they might have looked fantastical. But Goda already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies, far from being beautiful, held sway over something disastrous. And that gold swell trying to suck Shannon in.
シャノンさん走って
Shannon also realized that she was about to be swallowed up by gold butterflies. She ran unsteadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, the gold butterflies danced around Shannon in unison. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up.
シャノン
Please get to her, don't let her die!
くそなんだこれはこれが君たちの言っていた黄金の蝶なのか
早く外へこいつらめくそ
George and Goda rushed up to Shannon, driving off the group of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they needed good footing to get out the window, which was surrounded with shards of broken glass. When they had entered, there had been enough time to prepare for that, but now there was none.
扉から出よう足場を探してる時間なんかない
Of course it won't! Of course it won't!
貸してくそこのオンボロが
ジョージ様お早くくそなめるな
Goda took off his jacket, swinging it around and scattering the group of butterflies. But he was vastly outnumbered. It was doubtful that it even bought them a short amount of time. George struggled with the virtually broken handle. Its age showed, and it didn't turn well. Brute force alone won't do it. It needs the right angle or some trick.
ジョージ様くそこの化け物どもが
Just then, Goda saw it. He was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met. On top of the party table, no, floating above it, backed by a stained glass window, laughing, the figure of the witch. He saw the figure of the witch laughing in the center of the golden whirlwind, allowing the gold butterflies to attend to her whims.
ベアトリーチェ
It should have been Goda's first meeting with her, but he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly the witch with the portrait herself.
そろそろ晩餐の時間ではないか。すでにわらわはこの屋敷のホストである。そなたらを素晴らしきディナーで歓待しなくてはならぬというもの。おあつらえ向きに3人ではないか。これは実に好都合。
うわ
あ開いた
ゴーダさん早くベアトリーチェ様
あ
足を止めてもよいのか？ここがそなたらの墓場にふさわしいというなら、それもよかろうぞ。かつての主の傍らにて、死後も仕えたいというその心意気はたたえようぞ。
The golden whirlwind enshrouding the witch burst. It was like an evil hand had literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The group of gold butterflies attacked with a whoosh sound.
急ぐんだ足を止めちゃいけない
George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to themselves. Standing here now would be the same as a frog being stared down by a snake. They had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of the new brutal and frightening order that had enveloped Rokinjima. There was no time to take out their umbrellas. The three of them dashed out into the pouring rain. They never realized because they didn't turn around, but the gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well, and this hampered their ability to chase after the three. The three people ran from their golden pursuers and flew into the mansion.
愉快愉快。こうでなくては面白くない。
Man, this is tension building, guys. They unlocked the door and flew into the room. A bit of the scent from Natsu's favorite gentle incense remained in the room. However, there was no time to let that calm them now.
どこにあるんだ？宝物箱の中って言ったっけ？
話に聞いただけです。実際にどこにあるかまでは。
多分、お化粧台か、ベッドの脇にあるんじゃないかと思います。
Honestly, I'm still laughing at the fact that as this is going on, Battler, Rosa, and Maria are just in another room, just chilling. Unaware this whole nonsense is going on. Shannon claimed that because of her woman's sense. But in the corner by the bed, there was only an incense burner, a half-read novel, and a pair of glasses. But the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and it would be understandable if she had kept some of her valuables there.
夏日おばさん、ごめん。
He began to violently open each one of the drawers. He had to hurry. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling that the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He pulled out the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box for makeup looked like a treasure box, and the amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy.
この箱かもしれません。鍵がかかってて開きません。
At a glance, it looked slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled as though very small objects were inside. But it was locked and wouldn't open.
普通、鍵はすぐ近くに隠しておくものです。あるいは常に身につけている人もいるかも。わからない。わからない。
やむを得ない。壊そう。でも乱暴にはできないね。中の鏡を割ってしまうかもしれない。こじ開ける道具はないから。くそ。
Goda looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some tool that they could use. And he noticed the door, which had been left open ever since they had entered. He approached the door to close it and noticed the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness in the hall. No, the phrase shadows of people wasn't right, because that referred to human shadows. You can't call the shadows of beings that aren't human shadows of people.
ジョージ様、急い。
Goda's voice trailed off. It was the shock from seeing a procession of those not in this world. He was a servant, so he knew all of the servants that worked for the Ushinomiya family. Dude, close the door! But he didn't know about these. However, they were definitely servants. They weren't servants working for Ushinomiya Kinzo or Ushinomiya Kraus. Are you kidding me? They were new servants who worked for the new master of the mansion, the Golden Witch Beatrice, and who had goats' heads and bright red boiled eyes of lava. Oh dude, close the door, lock it. I know that's not gonna help, but do it anyway. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly, directed 6 of the new servants. He saw her pierce the darkness as she came. Of course, she was clad in gold butterflies that were her symbol. It took you long enough. Goda hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, the instant he locked it, it returned to normal, just as though it had been knocked back by a spring or something. There's no lock on that door, by the way. I'm looking at it. It almost gave the illusion that some prankster on the other side of the door was opening it every time he closed it. Distance-wise, they shouldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. Then who? How? It felt just like playing with a broken toy.
閉まらない。閉めても開いてしまう。どうなってんだこりゃ。クソクソクソクソ。
鍵がわらわを拒むと思うか。その部屋の新しき主をその部屋の扉が拒むと思うのか。
It was like the witch could see Goda's frantic effort through the door. Even as he struggled, the footsteps continued to approach. But when not just footsteps, but their breath too could be heard. Goda gave up on the lock and rammed the door with his shoulder, making the lock his own large body.
ジョージ様早く早く早く
What, they're gonna jump out the window then after this? Because I don't see any other alternative right now.
ジョージ様、これはどうでしょう。
レターオープナーか。そっちの方がいいね。貸して。万年筆じゃうまくいかない。
George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. It looks like it's working.
早く早く
The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Goda screamed. It wasn't a war cry for this test of strength. He was terrified. He was simply terrified that, except for a single wooden door, he would be touching something not of this world. But he was still lucky. He wasn't touching them directly, because they were on the other side of the door. So it was natural that if he did touch them directly, Goda's cry would turn from something brave into a shameful, and yet very real scream that would make glass shatter. Uh-oh. Goda couldn't believe what was right before his eyes. Going to the door, an arm. An arm, almost as though it was sticking through the surface of water. Slipped through as though it was perfectly natural and stroked the back of Goda's hand as he tried desperately to hold the door closed. It traced slowly up his arms to his chest and then his chin. By now, Goda's scream was not even vocalized. He could hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door. It wasn't coming from the witch, but judging by the sound of the voice, it was a young woman. But there was no difference in the fact that it was a voice from one not of this world.
見てるの相馬と。教えてね。終わったら。ありがとう。もう終わってるのね。
Ah, Goda. That obscene arm burst apart, and they heard the sound of something jumping around the room at an incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small like steel, or maybe a beetle. When it buried itself right into the center of Goda's chest and stopped, for the first time they realized that its true form was something like a stake with a strange design on it. Goda's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly even though no one was pushing it, and the new masters of this room were welcomed in. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted them. Ah, they're gonna die. Are you kidding me? The goat attendants entered one after another, 6 of them. 6! Holy cow. Then that witch entered, and the goat butterflies entered. The room was wrapped in a blizzard of gold leaf which fell and piled up, turning it into a world of gold.
Shannon, ルーレットはそなたとジョージを選んだ。解放の日に感謝せよ。未練はあるまい？ないよな。
So, Battler can't intervene in this? Like, isn't that the whole point of, like, watching this whole scene to try and figure out how to beat it?
惚れた男から婚約指輪をもらって、夜も共にしないうちに殺されてしまっても、未練なんかないよな。女の幸せを教えてもらいたかったんだろう。ああ、シャーノン、ダメダメ。垂れてるぜ。お前の口元から未練が。だらだら垂れてんのが見えるぜ。シャーノン。
I really love Beatrice's voice actress. She's really talented. It was the sound of the lid to the treasure box breaking and opening. When George turned it over, out fell accessories, charms, very small objects that Natsuki had treasured when she was a girl. Mixed in with those was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and checked it immediately. This was it.
見つけたこれだ
Will it protect them?
いいって及ばなかったの死ね
くそ
All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was painfully slowly trying to remove the content of the pouch. Just then, it seemed like for just an instant, a bright red flash lit up the room. That red flash seemed to wipe out the gold butterflies that were raging around the room, within a circle drawn with Shannon at the center. Therefore, it was a very divine scene. Almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in the ceiling in this world of gold. George, who was curled up in a ball trying to protect himself from a group of butterflies, didn't have a clue what had occurred. Are you kidding me? She's a witch? Or is she a mage? Either way, when did this happen? Then he noticed that Shannon was blocking the way to him, shielding him. With a serious face that she had never shown him before, as she glared at the witch and the rest.
忘れていた。そなたもまた、金蔵の優れた家具だったな。それも、カノンよりだいぶ熟成した。
カノン君を、よくも、殺したことじゃない。よくも亡骸を消し去り、その名誉まで汚そうとしたな。
おやおや、シャーノン。それを怒ってるのか？カノンに会えなくて寂しいなら、わらわに頼めよ。いつだって会わせてやるというのに。
When the witch snapped her fingers, one of the 6 goat attendants glittered gold and changed into Kanon. It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. It was definitely Kanon's face. However, in those eyes, there were none of the sincere glint of Kanon's. They were only clouded eyes of furniture that did nothing but obey the orders of the witch. George couldn't understand the scene right before his eyes, and he finally understood why Goda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they had seen in the servant room.
楽しいですか？
ああ、楽しいぞ。死が引き裂いた二人を再会させるのはいつだって楽しい。死で引き裂いて一度、合わせて二度、もう一度引き裂いて三度楽しめるのだからな。さあ、カノン。姉と遊んでやりなさい。もし痛めつけられたら、思いっきり苦悶の表情を浮かべてやるといい。
From the imposter Kanon's arm, a strangely shining trail extended. It planned to tear Shannon apart with that. Shannon, who still hadn't prepared her heart apart with a single stroke.
許さない。一度ならず、二度までも死者を汚すなんて、許せない。
ほざくな！弟に殺されろよ、シャーノン！きっといい夢が見られるぜ！
As the imposter Kanon drew several purple trails, he definitely had attacked Shannon. But when he flew at Shannon, it felt like some kind of invisible wall had been set up in front of her. A bright red ripple trail was left on the wall and it repelled the imposter. No, it didn't repel him, it smashed him. It knocked him back, turning him into golden dust into pieces, scattering him. The figure of the foolish furniture who had mocked Kanon's form and even disgraced his honor after his death broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces. Until they were no longer butterflies but a spray of gold and disappeared. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. This has been an amazing episode thus far. I wasn't expecting any of this to happen at all, and it shocked me if anything. But we're going to continue on guys in the next one, so thank you all for watching.